Hi, everybody. This is Ina here. I'm so happy to be here sharing this podcast with you because there is a topic that as soon as I heard about it, it kind of blew my mind and it helped me get so much more productive in my life because it created more awareness in my brain of how everything around me and how everything inside me, how everything in my brain was either helping me or hindering me in getting things done. So before we dive into this topic, which is it's an awesome topic, I can't wait to talk to you about it. I want to tell you a little bit about the past 3 podcasts that we had. So episodes 10, 11, and 12 were interview episodes. And I was super happy to have every single guest in here. You should go check them out. I'm still drooling and daydreaming about writing my own book. And episode 12 is all about that. Steve Dimick from bookauthority.com. He was awesome at giving us all of his information. Okay, what do you need to do before you sit down to write a page, right? Like, what do you need to do to actually write the book, getting it edited, getting it published. I didn't even know there were 3 publishing methods. I thought there were 2. I thought it was just self-publish or Random House. Apparently there's a 3rd way. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. You're gonna have to listen to the episode 12. Go check it out. And also talking to Rebecca Parsons. She was so funny. She made me crack up in that episode about how to do your email marketing. And how to actually sell on email, which is not something that a lot of people do. A lot of people say in your emails you should, like give something for free, give something for free, give something for free, and then ask for something. And Rebecca's position was, well, why are you treating your audience like an angry grizzly bear? Like you're afraid to poke them. I laugh so hard at that because I'm like, it's true. My mailing list, they want to hear from me. If they don't want to hear from me, they'll unsubscribe. People are not shy about unsubscribing or not opening emails. So for the people who are reading, for the people who are there with me, why am I not telling them how I can help them more, how they can get more access to me and what I provide and how I can help them more directly? Why wouldn't I do that? So in that spirit, the first thing that I wanted to tell you was that if you are ready, if you have been thinking about your business idea for a long time and you are really ready to take that step and to create your website, I created a course. All right. So this is where I tell you what I sell, because it's so important that you guys know what I sell, what my business actually is, which is I have been making WordPress sites forever. I mean, for 7 years. It seems like forever. For 7 years now, for small businesses, for medium-sized businesses. And to me, WordPress is completely second nature. To me, anybody could learn WordPress, especially if you have a WordPress blog. If you have ever had a free WordPress blog, it's basically the same interface, right? But there's so much more that you can do when you use a regular host with WordPress. And I teach you all of that in my course. I basically took everything I know, I packaged it, and now I'm selling it. So if you want to work together, because you do get access to a private Facebook group where I'm, there giving you personal feedback and personal attention. If you want to work together on your site, this is the best way to go. That's it. So if you go to inacoveney.com/WP course, that's going to take you straight there. I have been talking to so many people who, now that they know that I have a WordPress course, they're kicking themselves because they're like, why didn't I find out about this sooner? Why do I have a Squarespace site where you really don't get as many features? You really have to pay, out the wazoo to get more features in all the other platforms. With WordPress, there's a reason why Tony Robbins has his website on WordPress, Amy Porterfield, Marie Forleo, I have my website on WordPress, Catherine Zenkina, Rachel Engom, Lauren Elislove, like all of these people have their sites on WordPress. You know why? Because it is the most versatile place to have your website. You can literally do anything with it. It just depends on what level of depth you want to get into. And yes, it is totally possible to have a beautiful, wonderful, fully functional WordPress site without being a techie. So that's what I teach in my course. I explain things to you like you don't have a computer science degree. And I teach you how to walk through all of that, including I do have a bonus in there for idea validation. So if you want to do more idea validation on your own, check out the first 5 episodes of this podcast. But in the course, I actually guide you through it, because you really need to talk to your ideal audience so that you don't waste your efforts. There. So now that I got my call to action out of the way, that was my call to action for the podcast, is go check out the course if you're ready to take that step. Why don't we talk about this topic? I love this topic. I'm gonna tell you how I run into this whole, like your brain is sabotaging your situation. There is a podcast, I used to listen to it religiously until they changed editors. Sorry, nothing against Alex Schmidt, which is doing a fabulous job, but I was really a big fan of Jack O'Brien. So Jack O'Brien, he created Cracked.com. It's an online magazine. It's a funny magazine, comedy type of thing, and they have a podcast. It's called Cracked, and every so often they would have one of their executive editors, whose name is Jason Pargin, come and join the show. Jason Pargin is probably one of the most intelligent people I have ever heard, and if he was hearing this, I bet he would say that I have not met many people, but he's super intelligent, super higher thinking kind of dude, and I love listening to episodes that had Jason Pargin in them. Specifically, I would get my Cracked episode and I would look through the notes. I'm like, okay, is Jason Pargin in this or not? And if it wasn't, I would not listen to it. So there is episode number 44. It's called Why Your Brain is Sabotaging You, which unfortunately they have put behind a premium wall on Stitcher, so you can't listen to it anymore. Podcast used to be free. I don't know what happened to that model, but that episode is amazing. It's called Why Your Brain is Sabotaging You. And the reason I wanted to talk to you about this is because this is a huge reason why a lot of businesses and a lot of people, like normal people like you and me starting businesses, fail and quit too soon. This is the reason why. And the reason is that when they dive in, they're not expecting, or they don't know how to deal with failure. So they just retreat back to their old job, to their old ways of doing things. So this podcast episode, I'm going to tell you an example that they give there, which I loved. Credit to Jason Pargin, love the man. So in one of the examples, I said, okay, suppose that New Year's resolution time is rolling around, and you have decided you're going to improve yourself. You are going to get up an hour early every day and work out, right? New Year's resolution. What am I doing anyway in that hour? I'm just sleeping. I'm just bumming around. I'm just, So you would think to yourself, I am doing nothing, so I'm going to replace it by doing something, by working out, make myself feel good. Here's the problem with that logic. What happens when the new year rolls around and you start getting up an hour earlier? What do you think happens? Eventually, you start not doing it so much, right? Eventually, you realize, wait a minute, I am tired. Maybe I'll skip today. Oh, maybe I'll skip tomorrow. Well, as long as I have 3 per week, I'm okay. Well, let me just keep going. Let me just okay. Well, if I did it twice in a week, that's better than not doing it at all. And then eventually you just stop. So what happened? You were so excited. You were totally motivated. You wanted to do this. What happened? What happened was that you failed to predict the fact that you were actually doing something in that hour. That you may have been thinking before, well, I wasn't doing anything in that hour. No, you were sleeping is what you were doing. That sleep time meant something to you. It added value to your life, and you know that because you were doing it. You were sleeping. Your body was telling you it needed to sleep. So it's something that happens to everybody. In fact, this is the whole idea on which gyms have based their business models. The fact that you're going to keep paying and not show up. Gyms love people who don't show up, because that means that they have much more capacity in their gym. If everybody who was signed up for a membership went to the gym every day, they wouldn't have a model. They would only have, like 100 people at a time that they could service. 100 people times $30 a month. What is that? $3,000 a month? That's not how a business gets sustained. They rely on the fact that a lot of people are not going to show up. So that's how you can have 2,000 members, right? At $30 and at $30 per month, you do the math. That's how you sustain a business. So this is human nature. We all do this. And the thing is that I don't want this to happen to you. in your business because there's way too much at stake here. So I don't want you to make your business a New Year's resolution. I don't want you to make your business be, well, it's nice to do this. I'm going to do this on the side. We'll see how it works. And if I don't like it, I'm just going to quit it. Well, I can just tell you right now, by the example I just gave you, you will quit. You're going to fail and you're going to quit. There, I just saved you a whole bunch of time and aggravation, right? So if you know this about yourself, if you build that self-awareness, that you need to be prepared for what you're giving up when you take on something as difficult as starting a business, then it helps you, it prepares you for the times that adversity will come. It will help you, actually overcome it. It will help you actually get through it. So what I wanted to tell you is that when you start a business, things are hard. Things take money. I just recently started a LinkedIn series. If you want to go check it out, you just go to inacoveney.com/li1. That will take you to part 1 of that LinkedIn series, where I'm speaking directly to the corporate person, the person who goes to work every day, and they've been thinking about starting a business for the longest time, right? So I tell them in particular in part 2 of that series, I tell them, it's all about mindset, and it's all about knowing that your success is inevitable. Because if you face your business from the point of, it's inevitable for me to succeed if I never stop, then you will never stop. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter how many failed launches you have. It doesn't matter that one person signed up for your program versus the 50 that you wanted to enroll. It doesn't matter, because you keep taking everything in stride. Everything is a learning opportunity to get you to the next level next time. So if you think that way, if you think my success is inevitable and I'm willing to do what it takes, you will never fail. It's impossible to fail if you keep going, and if you're flexible, and if you keep investing in yourself. So in this episode, that's basically what I wanted to get you to understand, that when you take on business, you're giving up something else. And I need you guys to sit down and do this exercise for yourself. What are you giving up by embarking in this journey, right? Are you giving up nights with your family? Are you giving up weekends of hanging out with friends? Are you giving up other things that you could be doing? You could be out drinking. You could be out partying. You could be out planning a surprise birthday party for your husband. Hopefully you can still do that, right? But I want you to think about all the things that you're giving up by embarking in business, all right? In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to go to a conference, and that means that I'm going to leave home on a Thursday and come back on a Sunday, which means that my husband is going to be alone with both kids, a 1-year-old and a 7-year-old, from Thursday to Sunday. And guess what? He's going to have to deal with it, because this is what I've decided to do with my life. Now, it means that this is a sacrifice for me. You guys have any idea how difficult it is to make this kind of decision when you have a family, to leave them for several days, a little baby who at the time could be sick. Right now he's sick. He just started daycare, so he just started getting sick. So when I go to my conference, there's no way to tell whether the baby will be sick or healthy. And if he's sick, my husband is not going to like it, that I'm not going to be around, that mommy is not going to be around for it. But guess what? These are sacrifices that I need to make, because my success is inevitable and I have to do all the right things. Now, this doesn't mean completely putting aside my husband's needs and my family's needs. It means balancing them. So my next conference is not until November. My other conference won't be until January. So I'm spacing these things out so that my husband feels supported, but also feels like he's helping me do what I need to do. So what I'm trying to say here is that there will be sacrifices, and I need you to understand them. I need you to know what these sacrifices are. Are you leaving your family behind for a few days? Are you putting your business into debt, right? Which, I encourage you to listen to a lot of Catherine Zenkina, Lauren Elislov, on their thoughts and their views on investments, right? Catherine Zenkina went down to $25,000 in debt before she started to make the big bucks. Lauren went down to $60,000 in debt before she started to make the big bucks. You know what they have in common? They never gave up. they didn't see their debt as a sign that they should quit, get a job, and start paying that debt back as if nothing had happened. They took that as money that they were reinvesting in themselves, like they invested for themselves in college, like they invested to buy their own house. All of these things, like the word investment, it means that you will make the money back. But guess what? You don't make the money back if you quit. So all of this is to tell you, if you're embarking in this journey, there's a few things you need to keep in mind. You need to sit down and figure out what is it you're sacrificing and be completely okay with it. You need to know that things will go wrong, that your first launches will not be perfect, but you're going to keep going. You will need to know that even if you have a nest egg saved for your business, you may need to borrow money. You may need to get yourself a really good credit card and be responsible with paying it down, but being aware that leveraging your business, that borrowing money for your business is okay as long as you do not quit, because your success is inevitable. That's the mindset you need to walk into. Going into debt by $60,000 and quitting does not serve you. I do not recommend going into debt by $60,000. That's a very, very big amount. But I want you to be conscious of your finances, and I want you to be conscious of what you're willing to do to invest back into yourself. All right? Only you can make those decisions, but only you can also see what are the things that you're missing out on by doing this. And you will never go through it unless you believe that your success is inevitable, that it is around the corner, and you're just gonna keep bending that corner until you find it. All right, so it's basically what I had for you guys today. In the next podcast episode next week, we're gonna talk about business models, because all of this stuff that I've been talking to you about mindset is not the stuff that I teach. It's just things that I feel like you need to have a certain foundation on in order to be successful. I firmly believe that I could just come in here and tell you, here are the business models and here's how much money you need to get started, and you're not going to get anywhere. And I don't believe that's going to serve you at all in any way. I really believe you need to focus on your mindset first. You need to really figure out what are the things that you're going to be giving up, what are the things that are going to propel you forward, make those decisions, and then start with the business, all right? Because I don't want you to quit halfway. I don't want you to quit when you're just around the corner from your success. So in the next episode, I'm actually going to tell you what it takes to make money online, especially if you're doing this on the side. You want to know what your options are. If you're a little bit impatient and you want to get to it anyway, just go to inacoveney.com/join. That's my mailing list. And by signing up, the first thing you're going to get is my list of business models. So if you want to get that now, if you don't want to wait until next week for me to talk about it, then go inacoveney.com/join. Make sure you're spelling Ina Coveney right. It's EY at the end. And just go get the business models that way. That will get you also into my mailing list. And I love sending my emails, so especially for people who open and read them, they know that this is where I pour my heart into it. This is where I tell the funny stories. This is where I tell you what's going on. So I love writing my emails, and I hope you will become part of my little email community. Another way to become a part of the community is by joining the Corporate Trailblazers Unite Facebook group. Corporate Trailblazers Unite. You can also get to it by going to inacoveney.com/Facebook, and that's where I'm actually broadcasting this live. I like to do my podcast episodes live before the episode goes out, and I just post it in my Facebook group. So if you're not part of the group, go join it right now. So I guess that's what I had for you. Next week, business models. How do you do this online? But first, mindset. You guys, think about it. Leave me a comment. Tell me how it went. Do you have any questions about this? Like, does it ring a bell? Is this really the path that you want to go down? Are you having doubts? Do you need a little validation? Do you need somebody to tell you exactly what it's like on the other side? I'm super happy to do that. So just contact me on Facebook or reply to one of my emails, and I'm there for you. All right, guys, this is all I had for you today. I will see you next week.